we're going to start off today in Proverbs chapter 27, starting at verse 7 itself. And this is what we're going to go with today. The full soul loatheth a honeycomb, but to the hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet. Alright, so first off, whenever you get full, your belly's full, you're not going to eat everything that's in sight. But if you're a very, very hungry person, even the bitter thing is sweet to you because you're hungry. And a lot of people, I do believe, go after bitter waters because they're hungry. And so, as they're going after these bitter waters, they're hungry for something. They're hungry from a word from God. But the problem is it's bitter. It's not sweet. The analogy of a honeycomb, if you look in Revelations 10:10, when John's eating the book, it tastes like honey. I mean, it was bitter in his stomach, but it would taste like honey. And so the analogy God has kind of been using is honey is kind of like the word of God. But we go after, when we're hungry, we'll just about eat anything. And so what ends up happening is a person will go to this YouTube channel or this preacher or that pastor or this teacher because they're hungry for the word of God. And not realizing that just because the water is bitter, they think it's sweet because they're hungry for the word of God. So what then do we need to do? We gotta get filled up on the word of God. First and foremost, We gotta spend time with God. Something I do want to point out is the other day I felt led, just to get some honey. I thought I was going to get honey for something else completely different. But I just stopped at this one store, and as I was stopping at the store, I just kind of believe God kind of highlights certain things to people sometimes. As I'm going through the store, I see this box of Golden Grams, and it says, Retro Recipe is back. Honey is back. And I felt led to buy 2. And I ended up buying 2 honey. And I wasn't fully understanding all that at the time. But, here we go. In, Jeremiah 6:16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the way, and seek and ask for the old paths. Okay, the retro cereal is the old paths. God was kind of pointing out to me. Wherein is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But you say, we will not walk therein. Alright, so they're just kind of going after their own way, their own thoughts. They don't want to go back to the Word of God, because, in a sense, they're hungry for the Word of God, but they're like, no. It's kind of like a double negative. It's kind of like when you're thirsty, you try to eat and eat, thinking that's going to quench your thirst, but it's not really quenching your thirst because all you need is just a glass of water. And instead, you're just eating and eating, and you're really not satisfying that need that's needed to be met. And so what we got to do is seek back to the old paths. Something I was actually a video I just recently watched, and she was talking about is like how she has the fine choice meat kind of deal, but everybody's wanting that second or third rate chemical induced meat, if you will. They're hungry and they're just going after that, but that's satisfying them for now, because they don't know the full what the good choice is, because they haven't sought the old paths. they're saying this is the path because that's what they were fed on, but they're not seeking the old paths. I had a dream last night where I was basically in this like little fight with this person, I guess you could say, and we're basically put on a scale, and all my weight, most of my weight, ended up being transferred to this other guy. It was like he had a big handicap because he had all this extra weight on him. Well, I went down to weighing only 3 pounds. I didn't change in size or anything, but I went down to like 3 pounds. So I was nice and light and able to move and all this stuff. Yeah. Well, the other guy was way down with all this extra weight. And I thought in the dream, it's like, this seems kind of like an unfair fight. But it was a fight. So as we were starting to fight, he's kind of like he had the high ground and all that stuff. And I'm having this bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios, all right? So I'm flinging the Cheerios out of the bowl. I'm really getting good. So I kind of climb up a little bit higher. I'm flinging more Cheerios. And so all the Cheerios are going behind him, but I'm causing the Cheerios that are going behind him to stick into his hair. And I'm just doing this, and he's thinking like, oh, this is having no effect on me, and blah, 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 blah. And so I have all those Honey Nut Cheerios in his hair, back to the honey, and it's like, I was basically lulling him into a false sense, because once I had enough, Cheerios in his hair, I was going to use my lightning to basically electrify all those Cheerios that was in his hair and attack him in that fashion. And the one thing I was going to say about the lightning is I had a quick dream. It was like I was seeing in the spirit, but I was asleep. I don't know how to describe it, but I just remember like my hand, like thinking I gotta wake up, but it's like as I'm trying to open my eyes, I see my hand and it's just got like blue sparks like coming from it. It's like I'm able to make blue sparks from it, so that's where the lightning's coming from. So yeah. And so the dream basically ended with him, like I believe I was about ready to unleash all the lightning on him and his head full of Cheerios. And that was the end of the dream there. So, my question is, do you want to get back to the Word of God, or are you satisfied on just eating the bitter waters? And unfortunately, the bitter waters don't provide good stuff. A lot of times, they're bitter for a reason. And if you're not careful, that bitter water can eat you up. Alright, so seek the old paths. God bless you all. Bye.